Sweetie, sweetie, much more interesting than Kay. Seriously, Kay's really dumb. Kay really brought the movie down for me. It didn't really get interesting until Sweetie showed up. Or Dawn. Anyway. Hello there, CriterioNate here. Number 356, Jane Campion's Sweetie. Obviously, we started off with, first, 1989, 99 minutes, color, so obviously, we started off with a Jane Campion movie, An Angel at My Table, and I think I gave it a C+, and yeah, again, most of that was, not because of Jane Campion. I had nothing against her. It was mostly because of Carrie Fox, can't stand her, stop sucking dicks, literally. And then so I thought, okay, well, hopefully this one will be a little bit better. And it is, not by much, though. I think this movie just really really knew, what to say in this movie. I know that Jane Campion, wanted to make a low-budget film, to make a feature film. She didn't really want to spend a lot of money on this movie. But might have spent a little more time on the script, or made it a little bit longer. Again, this is one of those movies that I feel like the short running time kind of made it suffer. It could have ran to 110 minutes, extra 10 minutes or something like that, But so be it. So anyway, plot. So here's what happens. So we got Kay. Kay is this superstitious young woman who gets married to this guy that has a question mark on his head, and it's not really a question mark on his head. It's the fact that this curl on his head, hangs down. He has a little curl that stops at this little mole on his head or something, and it forms a question mark. And his name is Lewis, or she calls him Lou, and he's actually engaged to somebody, her coworker, and she says, "Oh, I'm supposed to be with you," and then they end up getting together, and 13 years later, they're not married. Yeah, I think they're married. I think they're still just dating. But 13 months later, they're living together, and I think she's superstitious about some plant that Lou plants in the thing. It's like a baby plant or something. I think maybe they're trying for a child or something. I kind of missed that bit of the movie. But anyway, yeah. So Kay's really annoying. I could not stand Kay. I thought she was just boring to look at. And yeah. So I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. There was a bit of a delay between me watching the movie and doing the review, so I'm already starting to forget certain key points. But anyway. And again, as I mentioned before in my song, the movie doesn't really get interesting until Sweetie enters. Sweetie whose real name is Dawn, also Donnie. Sweetie is Kay's, I think, younger sister. Sweetie suffers from some mental illness where she acts like a child. She has these moments where she's an adult, but for the most part she lives in a very childhood fantasy kind of world, and she ends up snarling at her parents like a dog. She doesn't get what she wants, and kind of throwing tantrums and all that, and crying, and so they all kind of have to take care of her. I guess at one point Sweetie was destined to be a star. She sang a lot of songs, and when she was younger, and her dad was trying to get her in all these shows, but to no avail. Their mom stopped taking care of Sweetie. This kind of believed that the father, I think his name is Gordon, I think, ended up kind of coddling Sweetie to the point where the mother's I don't really want to have anything to do with that child anymore. I'm trying to think. So and then at one point the father comes up to visit them, and I guess Sweetie just shows up out of nowhere with her boyfriend Bob, who's this talent agent who's going to get her into some show. And Kay and Lewis are trying to get them out because they're a burden. Bob and Sweetie are a burden to them. And yeah, so basically, this movie is basically about the relationship that Kay has with the rest of her family, mostly Sweetie, and mostly the relationship of how Kay's relationship with the family, Kay's relationship with Lewis, and also Sweetie's relationship with the rest of the world. They have Sweetie makes good friends with the neighbor boy Clayton, who's always wanting their attention. They always have to hide from him. Kay and Lewis have to hide from him. And at one point, Kay is so turned off by Lewis that she ends up sleeping in another room, in a guest room. And they just don't sleep together. She doesn't want to have sex. Sweetie ends up trying to seduce Lewis, and at some point, and it kind of turns Lewis on to the point where he wants to seduce Kay, and Kay doesn't get it, so he's frustrated about that. But yeah, so originally, I thought, oh, okay, it's easy to just do an intro by doing an impersonation of the Sweetie, but just like Clean Shaven, it's like, when we see these movies with people with mental illnesses, and it's not fair to, I feel like, I tend to side with those characters, because I know, I know a thing or two about, mental illness. So I just don't think it's very, I tend to side with those characters because, I think, patience is everything, when you know someone with mental illness and all that, and, yeah, I'll leave it at that. But anyway, basically, at one point, Gordon and Kay want to go see their mother, but Sweetie doesn't. But she doesn't want Sweetie there, so they have to get Sweetie out. And so at one point, Gordon fakes that Bob is calling her on the phone, when in reality, I think Bob dies in a diner when Gordon took him out to try to tell him, hey, we don't want, they don't want you at the house anymore. You and Sweetie have to go. I think he just keels over at the diner, and Gordon just leaves her there. Is it Gordon? I'm going to look it up. Anyway, so she falls for it, and they take off and leave her at the house home alone. Gordon. Flo is their mom's name. So they drive up to Flo's house where she's living with these bunch of ranchers, and they do these dances and all that. And Flo and Gordon kind of rekindle. They dance together, and they kind of rekindle their love. And so they all go back to the house together where Sweetie has basically torn the place apart. And toward the end of the movie, and basically, so the final climax of the movie ends with Sweetie has apparently gone so far off the edge that she has taken all her clothes off, painted her body black, and hiding and is living up in her treehouse, her childhood treehouse, with Clayton. And Clayton comes up and invites himself up, and they jump. They're jumping around, and and Gordon's trying to get them down. And at first, he's hanging by it, and Kay is, just kind of standing by yelling at Sweetie. And at one point, and they jump so much that the floor falls through, and they fall out of the tree. Clayton lands on a branch, on a branch below, but Sweetie falls off and conks her head and is mortally wounded by the wound. But also I think she hurts her mother on the fall down. But Sweetie ends up, I guess, losing a lot of blood to the point where she dies. They try to resuscitate her back to life, but to no avail. And so they have a funeral for her, and the movie kind of ends with their lives moving on. I guess at the end, Kay and Lewis kind of rekindled their sex life or something at one point by talking about feet, and Gordon has a vision of Sweetie singing this song, and that's how the movie ends. I wasn't crazy about this one, I gotta admit. It was better than An Angel at My Table, but really not by much. I wasn't a fan of the soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was really annoying, especially the girl at the end singing. It was a really annoying song. Again, all the acapella music. I thought it was Tracy Chapman at first, but no, it's some Michael. What's his name? Martin Armiger. I have no clue. But yeah, that was the music. The soundtrack was really repetitive. The song that they were dancing to at the ranch was really, really annoying. So yeah, that really brought the movie down. So yeah, again, I have nothing against Jane Campion. In fact, I think she's really attractive for that matter. But at the same time, though, she kind of reveals herself in the interview. There's an interview with her, and I'll just jump to the supplements, where she talks about her years at film school when she did a couple of short films, and she comes off as extremely nervous to the point where she's actually really annoying. Like, she laughs too much and nervously laughs too much, and tries to be too funny, and it's just a point where she just makes herself and it's hard to like, it's like if I was saying something funny and I'm in it for the long haul, and I wonder if that means that maybe Jane Campion has some sort of mental block or something. I haven't really looked up too much of her personal life, but I'd like to think that maybe there was something to Jane Campion. I mean, there is. She's not. I don't think she hasn't passed away. But yeah, it seems like a lot of her movies seem to be like, I think, what was it? An Angel at My Table. What was it? Janet Frame was, I think, misdiagnosed with schizophrenia or something like that. And then the main character in The Piano, I was looking that up. I forgot she's mute. So it seems like, a lot of Jane Campion's movies, if not all of Jane Campion's movies, are about women with some kind of disability. And if that's her theme, maybe it's because maybe she has some sort of disability of her own. I haven't looked up her life, so don't quote me on this at all. I'm just speculating, But anyway, yeah. So again, Sweetie. Again, I think it just wasn't. I wasn't that great. But at the same time, I can't really decide between this and Angel at My Table, because while Angel at My Table was mostly bad just because of the little things. Again, I liked Sweetie. I liked Sweetie's character. I thought Sweetie was a really interesting character, and I wish we had more of Sweetie's background and all that stuff. I really wish we didn't get so much of Kay, because Kay's dumb, and really, I think really selfish too. And a lot of people say, oh, and again, I mean, for you might say, oh, Sweetie, but Sweetie's the selfish one. But again, I don't see it that way because of her mental illness. I feel like I'm very sympathetic to characters with mental illnesses, and there's that. So I'm sure there are other reviewers on YouTube who aren't so sympathetic, and if that's your bag, so be it. But anyway, so because of that, C+. Both of Jane Campion's movies in the Criterion Collection are getting C+. So there. Yeah. Both, I mean, yeah, again, Campion, I think I've seen some of The Piano a long time ago, and I had nothing against it. I've got to see it again, and hopefully maybe someday the Criterion Collection will put it out on DVD. I bet you they will, because it's one of those. It's probably one of her. I think you're probably her biggest mainstream success. I think. I mean, it had Holly Hunter and Harvey Keitel. How can you go wrong? But yeah, so there is that. But yeah. So anyway, Sweetie, C+. So be it. Excuse me. Yes, documents, supplements, and all that good stuff. Making Sweetie is an interview with Genevieve Lemon, who played Sweetie, and Karen Colston played Kay. They're just basically they're in the same room, reminiscing to each other about the old days and remembering. I guess at one point they made like a behind the scenes like making of documentary called Biting Sweetie or something like that. And I wish that was in the on the Criterion edition, because that looked really interesting. Just, you know, all the shots they were doing and all that. Yeah. So, and then there's three of Campion's short films. One called An Exercise in Discipline, Peel, which is about this family, this mother and father and a son who are driving down the road, and the son starts eating a peel, and they end up pulling over, and they all fight, and yeah, I don't get it. Passionless Moments, which was actually kind of interesting. It was just like a series of short vignettes, very short vignettes, about weird little moments in these characters' lives, a bunch of characters' lives. And then the weirdest, A Girl's Own Story, which is about, I guess, a bunch of girls who discover their sexuality through the Beatles and each other and their fathers and their classmates or something. And they sing some really, really, really weird-ass 80s song at the end of the short film, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, it's like something like some goth Cocteau Twins kind of thing, Clan of Zymox, you know, weird. It's so cold, it's very cold. I don't remember the words, but it's just like, what the hell? It was I think it was The Girl's Own Story was done in 1984. So that was the period when that kind of music, that new wave, goth new wave sound was like at its pinnacle, I think. But like, I just like, what the fuck, you know? Yeah, and then there's a conversation from '89 called Jane Campion, the film school years, which I think was done right before she started working on Sweetie. And again, I think she's actually really attractive, and that's kind of, I mean, that's a not great thing to base, you know, your review of someone on, but, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just like, I want to be sympathetic. I'm sympathetic to her because she's, you know, very hypnotizing. But again, she does that weird laugh, that, you know, that nervous laugh, you know, that just, I don't know, it's just kind of just does it a little too much, you know. But again, maybe. There's some behind-the-scenes photos, some production stills. There's a trailer, and that's it. So, Sweetie, C-. So be it. Give it a miss. I'd say you're not. I mean, if you need to check it out, I'd say check it out just for passionless moments. It's interesting. That one's interesting. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Let's see. Yeah, tomorrow, Fallen Idol. And then after that, we've got Pandora's Box. Originally, I was actually planning on doing Pandora's Box tomorrow as well. I was originally going to do the Fallen Idol tonight, and then and I might. There's a slight chance I might still do the Fallen Idol tonight and do Pandora's Box tomorrow. Even though, actually, you know what? This is 2 discs, so I'm probably not going to. I'm just thinking about, you know, the time I have. There's a chance we may have to stave off Pandora's Box until Monday, the Monday after Christmas, because I may be busy, or we may do this Christmas Eve too. We might actually have a Christmas Eve review. I just know that, or maybe I might have time Thursday. I'm just not sure what my Thursday looks like right now. So yeah, I'm not sure about when we're going to do Pandora's Box. It's either going to be hopefully Thursday, possibly Saturday, but at the very least, it will be Monday. So anyway, there's that, and then what's after that? Pandora's Box, and then Double Life of Veronique is still on its way. Symbio Psycho Toxoplasm is still on its way, and then I got the Beatles of Grey Garden, and Border Radio again, Filmstruck, and then today I got Mouchette, which, oh god, I can't show you the cover. Damn. Oh, I can show you the booklet. Dang it, the cover wall. There you are. There's that Mouchette, and then what's after that? And then the Monsters and Mad Men series, which I found out I can't get half of them. I put a hold on there's First Man into Space, The Atomic Submarine, The Haunted Strangler, and Corridors of Blood. I can get First Man into Space and I think The Atomic Submarine too. The other two I'm going to have to do on Filmstruck, sadly. Which is cool because The Atomic Submarine is not on Filmstruck, but the other three Robert Day movies are. So, yeah, I don't know what that's about. But anyway, at least we'll be able to hopefully get for the first two movies. We'll be able to do the first two movies with supplements. The other two, again, if I like them enough, we'll get them. I'll order it online, but I mean, we actually just got, and on that, my library just ordered Equinox and Seduced and Abandoned, so we will get to the supplements in due time. And yeah, so all that good stuff. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Morals. I don't think I actually did it. Did I do any? What was my last review? Don't be. I didn't do any morals for Hands Over the City. Don't be corrupt. Don't be corrupt. Don't be a corrupt Italian politician. There you are. And don't build shoddy buildings. Sorry, making up for old. So morals for Sweetie. Be kind to those with mental illnesses, and don't steal the fiancés of your coworkers, even if you saw that you were destined to marry them in tea leaves or be with them forever. And I'll say that. And don't leave your mentally ill sister at home by herself. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow, or possibly tonight for The Fallen Idol. And until then, goodbye.